Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. You may notice that in this video you are not getting high quality microphone sound because the microphone has been rendered useless because I got a new computer. Got to get a sound card to plug this thing into, but still we're going to go over what I felt were the best and worst tracks of the week. First, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, the good people over at SeatGeek, which is an amazing app that aggregates tickets to live events from all over the web to make ticket buying simple. They put a 1 to 100 score on each ticket to let you know if you're getting a good deal or a bad deal, and their in-app view lets you know where you're going to be sitting, what it looks like from where you're sitting before you buy the ticket. Make sure that when you purchase a ticket, use promo code DROP to get $20 off of your first order. Again, that is the good people over at SeatGeek. That link is down there in the description to that app. All right, let's go. Weekly track roundup time. Of course, also before I get into all of the tracks, I have to give a shout out to the tour I'm going on this October. Please hit up some of these tour dates if you're there. Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Jose, Brooklyn. We have an Alston, Massachusetts date and a Hamden, Connecticut date. All of these, why is this microphone near me? All of these tour dates have tickets available. Some of the ages, I talked with the booker and had her slide the ages down like from 21 to 18 or from 18 to 16. So please check some of the age limits on some of these shows before you do purchase your tickets to make sure that you can go. And I have made sure that all the ticketing links on these tickets are working and functional. They're all working. They're all in order. I have gotten a few complaints over the past week. Now they're all set. Now they're all together. Now all the tickets are available because there were some tickets and dates that were not available prior. Also, down there in the description, hit up our Amazon Associates link. If you live in the US and you click on it and it's down there in the description, down there, along with SeatGeek, along with tickets, linked tickets for the shows that I just mentioned. If you click on this Amazon Associates link, we get kickback from anything you purchase if you live in the US, and just use it to buy some stuff you were going to buy anyway. And also we have a similar thing going on with the good people over at Turntable Lab, which is a fantastic website where you can buy colorful pressings of records that I reviewed on my YouTube channel, or you can buy turntable stuff, audio equipment stuff for the budding record collector. We also get kickback when you use that link. And let's get into what I need to talk about in this episode. Of course, Taylor Swift. We're going to front end this one with the new Taylor Swift single, Look What You Made Me Do. People have been talking about it. People have been saying, I got to talk about it. I know I got to talk about it. There's not a whole lot information-wise about this single that has not already been leaked to the public or has not already been made widely and sort of readily available, like the sort of Right Said Fred co-writer credit on this thing, because Taylor basically kind of mirror images the hook to, Too Sexy, and, kind of mocks it a little bit, or creates a musical mock of it with the hook on this track, singing "Look what you made me do, look what you made me do," because it sounds like I'm too sexy for my shirt. I don't know how Taylor essentially took a really catchy hook from another song and somehow made it less catchy on her track over here. I think the song is just okay personally. I think it's just okay. It's certainly a change of pace for Taylor, and there are elements of this change of pace that I think are cool, that I like. I like the production and her singing. Everything is a little bit more low-key. It's a little bit more minimal. It's a little bit more sleek. It's a little bit more sexy, okay? But it's also not that great of a song. Again, the hook is very weak. A lot of the vocal sort of tricks and gimmicks throughout the track are super silly, like the whole part about Taylor not being able to come to the phone. Gah, was like so cringeworthy I threw up in my mouth a little bit. And I don't know. It's going for sexy, but it's not that sexy. You can't just pout your lips and sway your shoulders a little bit and just sexiness just falls out of you. It doesn't happen like that. So, I have a sneaking suspicion that if Taylor goes in that direction with this entire album, that's most likely what it's going to be. But I'm hoping not. I certainly tolerated it more than I do most of Taylor's singles. So I don't know. It's kind of a win, And I also want to give a shout out to the band Pup, because they came out with this amazing new music video that is a choose your own adventure music video. Linked down there in the description. Please give it a shot. Let's get into the worst tracks of the week. Okay, worst tracks of the week. Pulling no punches on this set of tracks over here. New William Patrick Corgan track over here, or you know him as Billy Corgan, frontman of Smashing Pumpkins. He is going to be coming out with a new solo record soon, which he has released solo material in the past. People are acting like he hasn't, but he has. And this is kind of the new lead track from this upcoming project. And it's just kind of a bland, disappointing, orchestrally enhanced piano ballad that just drags on way too long. This sound and this style is not really Billy Corgan's wheelhouse, so he sounds kind of awkward and out of place here, and it's really just kind of a drab song, and that's all you can really kind of say about it. Moving on from there, this new song, Check 1 from King Krule. While I have enjoyed and appreciated a lot of King Krule's material in the past, I do not really get the appeal in what he's going for on this new cut over here. The spoken word passages and the instrumental were just really flat, really lifeless, really uninteresting, didn't build anything in terms of tension, in my opinion. Song just seemed like a really abstract mess for me, to be completely honest. And finally, I want to give a shout out to a negative shout out, obviously, to the new Doom song over here, Doomsayer, which is set to be on an upcoming compilation of just kind of notebook tracks, B-side material that Adult Swim is releasing track by track, one track a week. And given the material that I had heard thus far, I kind of just had a sneaking suspicion that every single song was just going to be like some weakly recorded, mediocre, throwaway cut, and that just kind of seems to be the case, especially with this new track over here. I mean, Doom is just sounding more tired than ever. I don't know if this is a super old track, a super new track. I really don't know. The performance is just really not there. Lyrically, he's not at his best, and the instrumental, while it is quirky, it's also really tedious, and I just don't really know what else to say. I did not really care for this song at all. Let's get into the tracks that I thought were kind of meh. I wanted to shout them out, but they weren't my favorite, but you know, still worth talking about, still worth mentioning, still worth linking down there in the description. Check these tracks out too, if any of the sounds or artists here interest you. I want to give a shout out to the new Tyler, the Creator sort of cut over here. It's him sort of freestyling over an instrumental from Jay-Z's new album. Some of his bars and his flows here are actually really good. It kind of shows just how much Tyler has improved as far as his rapping and his lyrics go, just by leaps and bounds since his last album. It just seems like he's put in so much effort in his rap style since Cherry Bomb, and it really shows, not just on his new album, but on this track over here. You know, if you really kind of want to hear Tyler, you know, doing really well, you know, doing some of his best rapping, because I think he is, as far as rapping goes, at his peak lately. Don't miss out on this thing. Moving on from that, the new Propagandhi track titled Failed Imagineer. I've never really been huge on the whole like melodic hardcore 90s skate punk sound. Propagandhi is one of those bands that, you know, is probably one of the best when it comes to that style. It's just kind of a personal preference. However, I thought this new tune wasn't too bad, and, you know, there's no harm or, you know, nothing wrong with shouting out or, you know, just kind of pointing out or getting people to listen to some Propagandhi. It's just not really my favorite flavor of punk, but, you know, still tons of respect for this band. And, you know, they've been coming out with some great music very consistently over the years. And I have to admit, I love this fucking album cover. It's genius imagery paired with the album title here. Moving on from there, Fortet has a new track out that's kind of okay. You know, it's kind of like some low-key, techie, housey stuff. You know, not quite as textured or as sonically dense or as interesting as some of my favorite material of his, but it is a decent song. And, you know, definitely check out his Bandcamp because he has a lot of cool, loose stuff on there all the time. Moving on from there, the new Foo Fighters cut, which I thought was just kind of a really just dragged out, overblown ballad. Not a whole lot of excitement for me on this song. I don't know what it is. The new Foo Fighter material is just not really hitting me, you know. And while I've never been like the biggest fan of their most recent stuff, There have at least been like a song or a single here and there that's like wowed me or, you know, been at least a little exciting. The new material for me, it just seems like, I don't know, it's just not direct enough. It's just not direct enough. Chelsea Wolfe, wanted to shout out the new Chelsea Wolfe track over here, which is titled Offering. This song was sort of interesting for me. It's not the most fiery or exciting single I've heard so far in teasing up to this new record, and I anticipate that this song may grow on me a little bit in the context of her new album. But while this is the most mild song I've heard from her so far this year, there was something about it that kind of reminded me of Lana Del Rey, but if like it was a good Lana Del Rey song, like if the singing were better and the instrumentation were a little bit more interesting, like kind of smart, it kind of sparkles in like a very, I don't know, almost vintage way, and the ballad in the song is kind of very nice. There were some moments where I feel like it dragged a little bit, but I don't know, man. There's just something about this song. It reminds me of like a good Lana Del Rey, and that's no insult to Chelsea at all. You know, in the past there have been people who have compared both of their, you know, albums to me, and I've been like, "What are you talking about? Get the hell out of here!" I've been like totally offended. And then this is the first time I've heard a Chelsea song, and I actually like hear the comparison. I actually see the comparison. And thankfully, you know, I didn't feel like it was a bad comparison. You know, it's like, wow, this like reminds me of this, but better, but better. The new Beck song is okay. Kind of feels like a sort of punchy, clean, very digital 60s psych pop throwback. Decent groove on it. The vocals are okay. You know, it's not the best song he's ever written, but it certainly has more of a pulse than a lot of what he presented on his last album. So give a check out to this new Beck track over Your Dear Life. And I want to give a shout out to this new collaborative track with Ski Mask, the Slump God, and ASAP Ferg. I think they bring some pretty incredible chemistry on this track. The beat is obviously like a throwback to, you know, Get Your Freak On. Like if you're my age or around my age, you probably remember that song like ruling the radio. The track is okay. I think, again, the chemistry between these two is really good. Not that I thought it was going to be bad. I mean, Ski Mask kills it on nearly every new track I hear him on. And ASAP Ferg can bring a lot of energy when he needs to. He can be really eccentric when he needs to be. It's just that, you know, the hook isn't really there. The tune is just okay. And I wish that the beat was a little bit more original. It just kind of feels like almost a remix. The instrumental is so kind of predictable. Because it's really just kind of based off of the sample that it nabs for the most part. And let's get into the best tracks of the week. All right, shouting all these out. Again, they're linked down there in the description along with everything else I've been talking about. Gotta give a shout out to this new goddamn zombie track, Skittles. This is a really cool, textured, interestingly like grooved piece of techno. I don't know what it is with this track and like the last track I heard from Zomby. Like he's coming out with some pretty cool stuff lately. Like some really crazy and very punchy and very imaginative electronic music. You know, I haven't been crazy about a lot of his stuff in the past. Some of it has been a little limp to me, a little too atmospheric, a little too washy. But this is just so in your face and just hard as nails. Like the new Wu-Tang track over here featuring Redman. Really kind of nice to hear Redman back in the fold with Wu-Tang on a new song. And I don't know, man, this thing just has a solid instrumental, like bars galore, good energy. I mean, it's obviously not throwing it back to the gruffness and the aggression of the 90s stuff, but I don't know, there's like a lot of good things about this track, a lot of good things about it. So throwing it in the best over here. Pleasantly surprised, very pleased with the material on this one and the performances from everybody from Redman to Raekwon, everybody. Moving on from there, new Wolves in the Throne Room single, which was released via the whole Adult Swim, you know, singles collection. This is their 15th single this week, I think. And definitely one of the more grim and ferocious and atmospheric tracks I've heard them promoting in this new album cycle. Just kind of enjoying what I'm hearing, you know, seems like really nasty, maybe not as epic as like the material they put on their last record, which was mostly like ambient or Two Hunters, but, you know, certainly some powerful stuff, you know, definitely not as dry and as flat as like the last track I think they dropped with like a music video attached to it. This one I thought was much better. You know, again, black metal over here. If you haven't, you know, sort of listened to this band at all, you know, some very nasty, wild, mystical black metal with a lot of atmosphere around it. Moving on from there, Open Mike Eagle has a new track out, which I don't want to talk about too much because I'm going to be reviewing his new album soon, most likely. But new Open Mike Eagle, Brick Body Complex. You know, it's introspective, it's melodic, very interesting grooves on here. Open Mike always brings an incredible amount of personality in his lyrics. Again, not going to get too deep into it, but I do like the track a lot, and am looking forward to talking about this new cut, this new record, rather. New Mogwai song, god damn. Like, the last single, in my opinion, I thought was just okay, and this new track from Mogwai, who are an amazing instrumental band, post-rock band, instrumental rock band, they dropped this new track, and it's like this driving, somewhat punky rock track with like some decent lead vocals. The track is titled Eternal Panther, and I don't know, man, it's just like, it's got an engine on it, you know? It's got like a nice amount of momentum to it. This is not like the style of music that I would typically expect Mogwai to dabble in, but they really step outside their comfort zone here, and they do it really well. You know, that's the thing about Mogwai. You know, they have a lot of records in their discography that are just okay, but each album is a surprise. Each album is a new direction. It's a new page to be turned in the Bible of Mogwai. You know, they've had releases in their past that are more synthy and electronic. They've had releases in the past that are heavier and harder, ones that are more low-key and spacier. Like, they're all over the place. They're all over the spectrum. And this new track just kind of continues to prove the creativity and the adventure of Mogwai. Moving on from there, I do like the new Lone track quite a bit. It's titled Looking Glass. It's some very creatively sound-crafted techno that I think comes together really well. Definitely the freshest and most interesting as far as like sonic textures that I've heard his music, you know, sort of present in a while. Moving on from there, I do like the new Killers track quite a bit. Wonderful, Wonderful. It is an amazing, heavy, loud, passionate ballad, I don't know, with like a really strong hook. Like, I'm really loving how hype and, again, how passionate this newer material from the Killers is. And I don't know, I'm just really kind of crossing my fingers for an amazing album here. It's like been a while since I've legitimately been impressed with like the Killers stuff. So I don't know, this new set of tracks, like, they hit pretty hard. New Clarence Clarity. Clarence Clarity is back. Amazing songwriter, singer, producer. Check out his album Know Now if you haven't already. One of my favorite records in art pop and experimental pop, and one of my favorite albums of the year that it had dropped. This guy kind of fuses elements of like mainstream pop, R&B with like weird sound collages and experimental shit, like glitchy shit. Elements of like hip hop here and there too in his production. And I don't know, man, like, this song is one of my favorite songs he's come out with in a while. It's titled, I don't want to get the title wrong here because I think it's really cool, Naysayer, Godslayer. Like, really awesome vocal performance on this track. And the song just kind of hits me in the same way that a lot of the best material on his last album did. Which I think he was trying to depart away from with some recent singles, but now it just kind of feels like he's back in the pocket of bringing really creative, glitchy, strange production, but even though it's wildly experimental and there's something really weird, something really odd, really left field about it, the song is so goddamn catchy. Like, the vocal is so freaking undeniably catchy that I just cannot get over it. Like, it sticks in my head so hard. So shout out to Clarence for, you know, just continuing to be fucking awesome. And the last track that I want to shout out to you guys over here is this new Alex Cameron song featuring Angel Olsen. Okay, it's like a nice ballad, nice duet, and the music video is amazing, like depicting this girl kind of being obsessed with him and wanting to dress like him and kind of like flyering the town that she's in looking for him or something. And the way that Alex and Angel come together on this track, like, it's just a really nice performance. Like, they have quite a bit of chemistry. Their vocals, their vocal styles just complement each other really well. And yeah, I mean, between the solid tune, the great vocal performances on here, the chemistry, and the very cool music video, like, there's nothing bad that I could say about this cut and sort of this offering right here. just kind of looking forward to what Alex does more in the future, because honestly, this is the first I'm hearing of Alex's music, so I don't know, this is like a really good introduction for me, and hopefully it is for you as well. And that was the best and worst tracks of the week. Remember, all of those tracks are linked down there in the description. We have our sponsors over at SeatGeek. Look up their link down there in the description. Tour dates, tour dates, tour dates. Amazon Associates link, Turntable Lab Associates link, but again, especially the tour dates. Tickets purchased ahead of time are less expensive than tickets if you were to buy them at the door. And I have not seen the ticket sale numbers yet for the week or so that I've been promoting these things, so I don't know how close any of these venues are to selling out, but I've done dozens of events like this before, just never in kind of a, you know, linked up tour quite like this. And some of them have sold out, and a lot of people come. We have a good time. We do Q&A, we do music stuff, we do meme stuff. It gets kind of ridiculous. You know, there's a lot of like fan interaction and stuff. And, you know, afterwards I do, you know, pictures, shaking hands, kissing babies. So hopefully you guys get to come out and we'll all have a good time. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this video. I got a lot of reviews to do this week, just really kind of pumping them out because I'm trying to catch up with everything. The Ferg, the Tentacion, the Brockhampton, I don't mean Ferg, I mean ASAP Mob, you know, Queens of the Stone Age, Liars, there's a ton. War on Drugs, it's too much. But I'm going to try to get it all done and just pump it all out. All right, guys, you're the best. Forever, forever, forever.